Hi everyone, Miss Noda here. Today we are going to just quickly talk about what prokaryotes and eukaryotes are. Now those are two types of cells, and we will be talking about each one individually, things that they have in common, things that they don't have in common, or things that they differ from. So just go ahead and follow along. Alright guys, so what are prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Now, all cells fall into two different categories depending if they have a nucleus or they don't have a nucleus. Now, the first one, which has a nucleus, is going to be eukaryotic cells. They do contain a nucleus, and this picture right here, this is your eukaryotic cell. Now, you can see that there are some things that they have in common compared to a prokaryotic cell, which is this bright yellow one to the left. Now, prokaryotic cells do not contain a nucleus, okay? Now, the nucleus is a large enclosed membrane, or membrane enclosed structure that contains the cell's genetic material in the form of DNA. So, you are going to, in eukaryotic cells, you are going to see this large circular thing, okay? And this is where the DNA is held. All right, now eukaryotic cells have a nucleus and prokaryotic cells do not, okay? They do not. Now, what I like to use to remember is eukaryotic cells carry a lot of DNA, so they have to have something to store it in. And the other one, prokaryotic cells, they don't have something to store it in. So your prokaryotic cell is normally going to be smaller in size, and you can see this yellow one is a lot smaller compared to the eukaryotic cell. They're going to be a lot simpler. So if you notice, there isn't that many things going on in a prokaryotic cell as compared to a eukaryotic cell. Now, they do have a couple things in common. They do have a plasma membrane or a cell membrane, so they are going to have sort of an outside covering. Okay, they are going to have cytoplasm. Now, cytoplasm is kind of like the jelly that's inside of a cell that kind of keeps everything together. A way that I like to remember it is that jelly that has fruits inside. The fruits inside would be those organelles or those structures that have a specific function inside of each cell. Your cytoplasm is going to hold that. DNA, of course, every cell has some sort of genetic material in there. So, of course, DNA. Now, remember, prokaryotic cells, their DNA is going to be everywhere. So, this is that stringy purple thing here in the yellow cell. That is going to be your DNA. DNA is not in a specific place. It's kind of just all over the cytoplasm, as compared to the eukaryotic cell, which has a specific place where all of the genetic information is stored. Okay, now it has a nucleoid region. They both do. Okay, that is just where the most concentration of genetic material is. Okay, and then of course ribosomes are those little dots that you're going to see everywhere. Now in the eukaryotic cell, you are going to have ribosomes in multiple places because eukaryotic cells have those specialized organelles. You're going to see some free-flying or free-floating ribosomes kind of just a little bit of everywhere inside of a eukaryotic cell, as well as on some of the organelles. You're going to see there's something called smooth ER and rough ER, endoplasmic reticulum, and the rough ER will have ribosomes on the outside because they have a specific function to help with the rough ER. We'll talk about that later in an organelle video, but you will notice that there are going to be some ribosomes on the in multiple places in the eukaryotic cell as compared to the prokaryotic cell. Okay, so again, just to recap, prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus, okay, and eukaryotic cells do. They have these things in common here. Now remember, the nucleoid region is just where the most concentration of genetic material is in a prokaryotic cell because there is no nucleus, and the eukaryotic cell has a nucleus, so all of the genetic material or all of the DNA will be enclosed inside of the nucleus. Now, here we have differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now, again, the main difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes are that prokaryotes do not have a nucleus. The nucleus is absent as compared to a eukaryote where the nucleus is present. Now, prokaryotes do not have membrane-bound organelles. Now, organelles are, like the name kind of mentions, it's like the organs of the cell. So us humans, we have our organs, we have our lungs, we have our stomachs, we have our intestines, we have all of these organs, and each one of those have a specific function for us to be able to survive. Well, cells also have that. Okay, now prokaryotes, because they are simpler, they are not going to have membrane-bound organelles. As compared to eukaryotes, which are the cells that we have, multicellular organisms will have membrane-bound organelles. We are way more complex than cells that are prokaryotes. So eukaryotes are going to have many membrane-bound organelles. Now, because we have all of these organelles inside of eukaryotes, we're going to be bigger in size because we are holding a lot more things. Okay, so eukaryotes are going to have a way bigger size as compared to most prokaryotes. Okay, now prokaryotes have been on Earth for a long time. So they have evolved about 3.5 billion years ago. Okay, so as of right now, prokaryotes are probably the longest or the oldest types of cells as compared to eukaryotes that evolved about 1.5 billion years ago. And then prokaryotes, they're only in unicellular bacteria and archaebacteria. So bacteria that is uni, remember the prefix uni means one. So one cell bacteria, or archaebacteria. Archaea is just very old bacteria. And then eukaryotic cells are going to be in all other types of cells that are not unicellular bacteria or archaebacteria. So you're going to find them in animal cells, plant cells, fungi, protists, all of those things from the other kingdoms that we will be talking about in another video. Okay, so that is going to be the biggest differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Now again, just remember there are similarities. We have the plasma or cell membrane. Okay, that's what helps enclose everything inside of the cell. Okay, so that is the membrane. Remember, membranes are going to kind of be like the guards or the security guards of a club or of a party or things like that, that are going to allow certain things in and out of the actual cell. Now, of course, there's going to be some genetic material. Here we're talking about DNA. There are going to be ribosomes, and there are going to all have cytoplasm. So again, these are things that prokaryotes and eukaryotes have in common. Okay, they have a cell membrane, they have DNA, they have those ribosomes, and they have cytoplasm. All right, remember the key difference though is that one of them has a nucleus and one of them does not. So the prokaryotes do not have a nucleus and eukaryotic cells do. All right, guys, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope this helped you with trying to decipher which type of cells are prokaryotes and which are eukaryotes. I will see you in the next video. Bye.